Hey everybody, it's Matt again. Today we're going to take a look at a masterpiece third-party transformer. This one's a little bit older. This is the Dx9 D13 Montana, or their MP breakdown for their combiner. So this is the first one of the Stunticons that released in this set, but I really like their naming convention and their box art. Obviously, this is a reference to Scarface. Uh, of course, the iconic thing that he says. But I mean, it's a nice little box. It's actually smaller than what you'd think it is, but he is packaged in vehicle mode in here, which is nice. You know, I like that. But yeah, pretty nice little box. I like it. But that is not what we're here for. Let's take a look at... He's also going to come with, of course, his set of instructions. They're actually pretty good instructions, I'll say. They're not bad. But obviously they got advertisements for the next one, which is Henry, or their Wild Rider that came after this. But nice set of instructions. But he's also going to come with this big bag. So he's going to come with, I think this is like the secondary release version or whatever that I ended up getting, but he's going to come with this big bag of extra parts. That is because this thing has so bad chipping. The paint chipping all over the parts on this figure is terrible. So at least they provided a bag of replacement parts, and these painted, or these are actually the old parts. So I can't, I might be able to show you a little bit with like some of the chipping on some of the spots that was just really bad along the edges. I've already installed the newer parts on mine, so but at least that was offered. But here he is. Obviously ignore the faction labels, I put those on myself, but he's a nice little Lamborghini. Rolls pretty good. He does have rubber tires, which are nice. But there's the underside, cleans up pretty nice. Areas from the side and from the top, front, rear, all around. Really nice car. Really nice piece. I will say that there is a little bit of overspray on some of the blue, which is, whatever. The red isn't as crisp as I would like it, probably. And some of the parts, like here, even these are the newer parts that are supposed to fix the paint chipping. They're still chipping. So I don't know. Man. The windshields, they look like, or the windshield and the windows, they actually do look like they're black on video. They're actually translucent. They're just very, very dark. Another thing is, I'm definitely not a fan of the color mismatch. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know the color mismatches really bother me. So that's definitely like an off-white compared to like this kind of blue tinted, slightly off-white. It's kind of conflicts a little bit in my opinion. But all in all, I mean, it's a decent, nice little car. It can open the little headlights here. You can open those. You can also open the doors, but they open to nothing. So, I mean, at least it's included, but hey, you can't really do much with it. But he's going to come with a couple extra things. He's going to come with his gun, of course. This isn't painted, it's all just plastic with some, I guess they're like little metal rivets or something in there for some reason. But the handle does fold down so you can hold it in bot mode, but you can take this little tab right here and you can plug it into the top of the vehicle just like so. It's very tight. Actually, I don't even, oh man, you really got to push that into there, get it in there, but there it is. You can do that. He's also going to come with this thing, which I had to look it up. Apparently, this is the thing that Megatron or Starscream, or so I don't know who it was, but these are the things that they were putting in the Stunticons' chests at some point in the cartoon. So cool. But anyways, I will take that off, set that aside, and we will transform him. So to get started, what we're going to need to do is these two blue panels. Need to pull those down to kind of unlock a bunch of stuff. And then this rear section here, and this can be kind of a pain, but you need to lift off of this whole thing, and it needs to rotate here, and it can be kind of scary to do so because it really feels like you're going to break it at this hinge. So be careful. But you lift it up all the way here. Obviously, this the taillight section is gonna fold down, and then it's gonna slide on this piece of I don't know if this is die cast or what, but it's gonna slide down on that part. And it's gonna need to go down all the way until it clicks. And you're gonna take this section and rotate it 180 degrees, and then this section you're going to push into the main body of the car. And then over here on the sides, you're going to unpeg these door panels from that peg. And the whole things are going to swing down like so. Do it again, like so. And then this whole section here, this kind of door panel here is going to flip down like this. And then this foot, what's going to be the foot, is going to come out just a little bit and then fold down and then rotate it out like this. And then this whole section here is going to rotate in like this. This little blue panel is going to fold down. This door panel will come in like this. We're going to flip them around. And then this blue panel here will tab into this blue panel. And just kind of line everything up, because this little black post here is going to go right here. And it can be pretty tight to do so. But you got to just kind of keep everything in the right orientation. And then the foot is going to rotate like this. And then it's going to split here at the toe and that little die cast piece there on the heel. And then the entire lower leg will just rotate around like that, and then that is one of the legs. So once again, rotate this around, flip this, pull this section down, the foot's going to come down, turn out, that's going to peg together like so, this will flip in and then peg onto that part, foot will rotate and then split, and then rotate the entire thing around. Alright, just kind of clean that up a little bit. These don't really peg in the greatest. There we go. Sometimes it's actually easier to open this up and just smash it closed. There we go. Now it holds better, holds together a little bit better now. Alright, so now what we're going to need to do here is this little kind of rectangular section here. I can never get it with my hands. I always require a tool. You're going to have to lift up on this part here so that this comes up, and then the entire section of the thighs will drop down and then push that panel back up. Kind of put the legs in the right position. And then coming around back here, these two little panels, and I will say, I actually had to modify my figure a little bit here just to get this to work. So you have to push these in, but because of the tolerances just have problems here, when you go to push this in, and you'll see when you have to rotate the waist around, the waist won't sit flush. So what I actually ended up having to do here is these two plastic bits here, I had to shave off some plastic. So now it gives the clearance to close these like that. Annoying. It took me a minute to figure that out. So you may have to shave off a little bit of plastic to get it to do what it's supposed to, because it's definitely not toleranced correctly. Anyways, with those up, you're going to rotate the waist around. And then this whole upper section here, let me pan the camera up a little bit. This whole upper section here on this blue part is going to slide on this joint here. So you're going to kind of just pull, and it helps to kind of push on the windshield a little bit, but it'll slide up like that. And of course, look at that terrible paint chipping. Ugh, not good. We're going to come up here, and you don't want to pull on this too hard, but these little sections here are tabbed into these. We need to free that up, so just pull it away just a little bit from either side so that now we can split this and pull this whole section out. See, it would have been impossible to fully pull this down because of this white section. Now you can pull the entire thing down. Okay, so I figured out what the problem was there. Sorry. You need to, don't lift up this part on the windshield quite yet. You split the arms, open this up, because you want to pull this panel down first, and then you push that up into place, and it'll all lock together. I had the steps wrong. So now that this is up, now we will take the head and flip it out, and then just rotate it around. So here we want to rotate here at that joint on either side, and let's just do one arm first. So you're going to take this front panel here of the car, and you're gonna just, or actually don't do that yet, we're gonna lift this panel off first. So this is a bad spot where it chips, so it helps to kind of get a tool in here and just free it off of that section there, because you want to lift that up out of the way. Now this front panel here, split off of that part, flip it down and rotate it around. This part here, lift up on that sliding track, then move it this way, and then you gotta push it in. And this is a bit of a bear sometimes to get it to go in. That went in pretty easy that time, actually. So now just extend what will be the arm, and then we're gonna rotate this that way, and then flip the hand out and rotate it this way. And then this, the hood panel is going to come down, and that little peg is going to go into that hole, like so. And then this panel will just close. And then we'll just bring it down, and then rotate the arm in the correct orientation. And then this whole section will come up and peg into that, and then bring the arm down. And there is one of the arms. Now into the other side. So go ahead and once again try my best not to damage the paint. There we go. Put that up. Pull this section out. Rotate around. This part. Lift up. Pull down. And push it in. And then this part folds up. Rotate around. Flip the hand out, rotate the fist, peg the hood panel into the back of the elbow, close that panel, and then rotate, rotate, rotate into the correct orientation, and then the chest piece will just come up and peg into either side here, and then the back part here will just go up. And there he is. There is Breakdown. So let me get my camera readjusted. All right. So yeah, let's take a closer look at him. Here's a better look at his face. And I think the face sculpt is okay. I think it's too damn shiny though. Super glossy compared to the whole rest of his body. I do think that his chin tapers a little too much. Makes him look a little too young, in my opinion, as compared to like the cartoon model, but whatever. All in all, he doesn't look too bad. The chipping isn't nearly as evident in bot mode as it is in vehicle mode, but man, that sliding from the blue paint on the chest really does some damage down here on his abs, which is a bit of a bummer. But there he is from the back. I think he cleans up okay. But all in all, I like the proportions. He does. I do think that he looks the part. He looks pretty good. Off-white still bothers me really bad though. So you probably noticed. Good Lord, he's floppy. All of that super floppy. This is floppy. His legs, they don't peg together correctly. Like when you manipulate him, like none of that pegs together. So it definitely seems like they probably should have let this one cook a little bit longer. I know this is one of DX9's older MPs, but still, it's not the greatest. But we will, let's see, here's his gun. His gun, of course, can go right in his hand. It is a friction fit, so it does, you know, he holds it okay, but it is, you know, there's no pegs or anything holding it in place. You just gotta kind of close the fist around it tightly. But it's not bad. It's not like it's a huge weapon. But let's talk about articulation. So up here at the head, he has, I believe, a ball joint, just a single ball joint in there. So he can look down a little bit, up a little bit, and he can rotate his head around. And I believe, oh, there is also a hinge back here. So that's just the ball joint. With the hinge, he can look back that far, which is negligible. That's like basically nothing. So it's all right. At the shoulders, there's the joint here, which allows you to raise up the arms about that far. And then there is the shoulder joint, so you can go way up with the shoulder, which is nice. Little swivel here at the shoulder, so you can rotate all the way around. Rotate above the bicep, so you can go all the way around with that. Have a double jointed elbow for almost 180 degrees, which is great. The wrist is on, I believe, a mushroom peg, so you can rotate that around all the way. There is a joint here in the wrist. Let me open that. So you can get a little bit of wrist curls, which is good. The thumb is on just a little joint here, and he does have just one joint here for the fingers. So he's got those kind of awkward MP fingers, unfortunately. There is no secondary joint, so whatever. But the trigger finger is separate. It does its job. Here at the waist, obviously he's got that ab crunch, which kind of sucks, but you can get way forwards on it. But it is floppy. He does rotate at the waist, so that's fine. This panel here for the front skirt does go up, but it doesn't look very clean at all, and you'll see what I mean. If you want to raise up the leg, he's got his skirt flap out of the way. Kind of wish that they had figured out some way to make that like split or separate, because it doesn't look the greatest. As far as the hips, you can, of course, you can only get them about that far back. I showed that with the thing, or with the flap forwards, you can get the legs forward pretty good, and they can go out all the way on okay-ish ratchets. They're not great. They're very soft ratchets. You can also rotate here at the thigh, but it's like barely anything. I also want to point out, look at that, right through his legs. Not the greatest in the world. Doesn't look too good. Here at the knees, there's just a single joint, which will get you 90 degrees. You can also rotate there, but that's more for transformation. As far as the foot goes, there's a lot going on, but everything comes untabbed the second you try to do anything with it. There's that ball joint that's up here that gives you a little bit of wiggle. You can get a little bit of an ankle tilt because of it, but not much. The foot can rotate, but that's just for transformation. The heel can move, and the toe can move. So there's a little bit of movement, but at the sacrifice of destroying the entire lower leg that you just transformed if you try to do anything with it. So yeah, there he is. His articulation gets a solid okay. But let me set him aside and we'll do some size comparisons. Alright, size comparison time. Let's start off with some Carbots. So here is Takara's Masterpiece Prowl and Takara's Masterpiece Sideswipe. So he's pretty damn big for a car. You know, he's a little bit larger, which is interesting because in car mode, he's actually roughly the same size as Sideswipe as a Lamborghini because they're like the same car. So there's some Carbots. Here is Fans Toys Soundwave and Magic Square's first version of their MP Prime. It's Nemesis Prime. There he is with Takara's Masterpiece Megatron. and Magic Squares 2.0 Optimus, and just because, here is Magic Squares MP Brawl and their Swindle. All right, and that's going to do it for DX9 Montana, or their breakdown. I get that he's a little bit older. He's one of DX9's, older figures, but he's all right. He's definitely you're gonna end up getting him if you want to, get their version of Menasor and make their Stunticon team. But as a standalone figure, he's okay. He's definitely okay. He's loosey goosey, floppy all over the place. The color mismatch bothers me really bad. The paint chipping is terrible. His articulation it's okay, but it's very distracting when he just flops around anytime you try to do anything with him. I couldn't really pose him in any good, meaningful way just because the legs were irritating me popping apart while I was trying to do it. So here he is in just a kind of slightly more interesting A stance. Also, the fact that I had to modify this back section here just to get it to close correctly, not a fan. But at least they provided the replacement parts for the paint chipping, even though the new parts, they still kind of chip too. So, it's all right. I don't know if I can recommend this guy for, being the figure himself or being the character himself. I'd say probably end up going with Fans Toys if you want to have a standalone breakdown character. But when for the Menasor, we will see. Obviously, I didn't really show anything in part for his combine mode, but there really isn't much to show anyways because he's basically just a car that gets slapped on the back of Menasor's leg. So we'll cover that at the time when we make the combine video. But that's it for him. He's all right. Nothing really else to say about him. Of course, at the beginning of the video, thank you to all of my patrons. I really appreciate you support me over there. That's more for like my Armored Core stuff, but if you want to support me, that's probably the best way to do it. Of course, like, comment on the video, subscribe, check out my other videos. I've got a whole playlist of all my other Transformers reviews, and I will probably be covering all of the other DX9 Stunticons as well, probably pretty soon here. But please feel free to check that out if you like my content. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.